transmission.
Hi, this is Joel Persinger. I'm the gun guy. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I want to clear up some things today that I've been getting a lot of questions about regarding a video that was posted by the Daily Shooter talking about California DOJ going door to door and confiscating guns. But before I do that, a couple of things you'll notice that one, I'm sick as a dog, and so I didn't make it to church today, so instead I'm doing this. I've got a really bad virus, and as part of that, I've gotten something called Bell's palsy, which means half of my face, this part, doesn't work. So I'm actually doing this with half my face tied behind my back. And I look a little bit like a pirate as a result, because part of my face is droopy, and if I smile, it looks like this. So you may feel free to laugh at me if you wish. This may last weeks or months before it comes back, even after I'm done with the virus. So I went out and got a patch so that we could joke around about it at home, and so we have been. And I've been learning, among other things, the pirate alphabet. I bet you didn't know there was one, but there is. It only has 3 letters in it that I can come up with. A, Oi, and R. And that's it. And all words are spelled in the pirate language with those 3 letters, apparently, according to my kids. So you may feel free to laugh at my appearance or the fact that I have a little trouble speaking. Feel free to do that, because Lord knows I have, and my friends have, and my family has, and we continue to do so. So I learned a long time ago not to take myself too seriously. However, I hope you'll bear with me. It is a little difficult for me to say some things. Think about the time that you were at the dentist and you came back and half of your face wasn't working, and that you had difficulty speaking. That's where I'm at. All right, addressing the issue of whether or not the California Department of Justice is actually going door to door right now in the state of California and confiscating firearms. The answer, as far as I can determine, is no. That is not happening. That wasn't happening. Now, before I go any farther than that, I want to make a comment here about the Daily Shooter, because William is the guy who posted this on his channel. Also, I got to tell you, my left eye doesn't blink, so periodically I have to close both eyes so that it doesn't dry out on me. He posted a video on his channel, I think 2-3 days ago, about this, and a lot of folks started freaking out. And now they're angry. I'm getting comments on Facebook messages and emails from people and other things like that, and Twitter messages from folks who are angry with William because they feel like he committed some sacrilege by posting this video and trying to warn people about something he thought was real. Excuse me one second. Yes, you can laugh at that. I'm looking at the video and I want to laugh at me. Okay, maybe I should put the patch back on. Look, I don't know William terribly well, but we have communicated back and forth for quite some time and chatted a lot on the phone. And I can tell you my experience with William at the Daily Shooter is that he is a stand-up guy who cares deeply about the Second Amendment, who is doing everything he can to protect the Second Amendment rights of Californians and to keep them informed as to what's going on. So I've got people now who are saying, gee, he's not to be trusted anymore. He's not trustworthy. We can't rely upon him. Don't trust anything he says. Look, that's nonsense. And I'm just going to say that right now. If this turns out not to be true, and I think it isn't true by virtue of the contacts I've made, I'm going to tell you who they are and what they said here in a second, then what's happened here is that William took information which was provided to him and took it as it was. He trusted the source, thought it was true, and he went and did a video about it. Now, should he have done more work to verify it before he did the video? Sure. Is he a professional journalist? No, neither am I. He's a working stiff, trying very hard to keep you informed. So let's give him a break and have a little grace on the guy, okay? William's a good guy. He's got a great channel. Let's not start infighting amongst ourselves. What happened here is it sounds like he made a mistake. Well, having never made a mistake in my life, I don't know how in the world he could have done it. I make about 60 or 70 mistakes every hour, and you probably do too. So let's have a little grace on the Daily Shooter. All right, that said, and forgive me, I'm kind of miserable right now, so I hope you don't mind if I do this periodically with my eye and whatever. That said, here's what I did, okay? Because I had a bunch of people contact me about it. I saw the video and I thought, I don't know if I buy into that. And there's a few reasons why that I was skeptical about it. Not least of which is that the state of California is broke, first of all. And so they don't have the manpower at DOJ, nor do they have the budget to go running around the state, going door to door, and knocking on every door in the neighborhood like jackbooted stormtroopers to check on guns. That's one thing. Secondly, they don't have the legal authority to do it. And if they started doing that, it's a wholesale violation of the Fourth Amendment, right to unlawful and unreasonable search and seizure. And then third, we're in an election year, for crying out loud. You know, Gavin Newsom is trying to become governor. How's it going to help the liberal, progressive nutcases in California to succeed in winning their House elections and try to take the House back and try to do all these other things and win and elect Gavin Newsom if they're found to have sent the DOJ out to knock on every stinking door in the state of California and start confiscating guns from everybody? My goodness, you'd be starting World War III. So it just didn't make any logical sense to me in the first place. Now, so what I did is this. You know, I had several people want me to comment on it immediately. I'm not in the habit of throwing kerosene on a fire, so I wanted to find out if I actually knew something that I could share with you that would be factual. So I sent an email to Sam Paredes at Gun Owners of California and to Rick Travis at CRPA. That's the California Rifle and Pistol Association. They're the Gun Owners of California is the California counterpart to Gun Owners of America, and CRPA is the California counterpart to the National Rifle Association. Look, I have spent a lot of time talking with Sam Paredes and Rick Travis. If you want to know what's going on in California where firearms are concerned, talk to either one of them guys because they know. And if they don't know, they can find out because they've got the contacts all over the place. And I also sent an email to a friend of mine who's a law enforcement friend of mine. Because of what I do for a living, I have a lot of friends who are law enforcement. This particular guy often works pretty closely with DOJ. Now, not on firearms issues, on other things. And he is not going to tell me something that he's not allowed to tell me, of course. You know, if it's sensitive or it involves something that he's not allowed to speak about, he's not going to do it. But he felt it was pretty far-fetched, too. So here's what I found out, though, and forgive me, I'm having trouble seeing, so I hope you'll bear with me here. But according to the information I got, there are over 10,000 backlogged investigations from the Armed Prohibited Persons System, the APPS. Now, what that is in the state of California, look at my picture, it cracks me up. So if you're not laughing, you ought to be. In the state of California, they have a database of people who are felons or have been adjudicated mentally defective or are subject to a temporary restraining order by virtue of domestic violence or some other violent act, and they are prohibited from having firearms. And yet what they do is they cross check that with the database of people who actually have registered firearms in their names, and where they find that, you know, Fred Jones or whatever is a felon, and they cross-check him with the database of people that have a gun, and if it shows that he actually has a registered firearm, then yeah, they're going to go knock on Fred's door and say, Fred, we understand that you have a gun, and you're a prohibited person. We'd like to come in and verify that you don't have that. And they do that. But they only have 20 agents working on that system. There's 10,000 backlogged cases. You got 20 guys, 20 agents, guys and gals working on this for a state of 38 million people. Come on now. They can't knock on every door in the state. In addition to that, there are no other agents, according to this note that I got, to investigate the over 1 million modern sporting rifle owners in the state to see if they have either made their rifle compliant, California compliant, or featureless. They can't do that, and they don't have the authority to do it anyway. Now, what they can do is if you registered your firearm on as an assault weapon before the deadline, your rifle or whatever, and you sent pictures and there was something wrong with the gun that was illegal, it was illegally configured, yeah, they might come knock on your door. That's what they did with a farmer here in California, and he let him in the door, and they ended up finding that he had a suppressor and some other things. They arrested him and charged him with a whole bunch of felonies. So they are doing that. But as far as going door to door, knocking on doors, no, they're not doing that. And they're not doing it for all the reasons I discussed, not least of which is they don't have the capability in the first place. They don't have enough people or money. So, if you are now cowering in the corner or rushing out in the backyard to bury anything that you think they might get you for because it's illegal, one, I would simply say you would be wise not to have anything illegal anyway. I got rid of anything that I had that might be questionable because I have a YouTube channel and I can't, it's just stupid for me to have things that aren't legal in the state because the state watches. I know for a fact that folks at DOJ watch my channel. So why on God's green earth would I want to risk having illegal firearms? I'm not going to do that, or magazines or whatever. There's no way. So all that stuff is gone. Now, when I go to Pahrump to go to Front Sight, I have a friend who lives in Pahrump. I have a sister church, part of our church in Las Vegas. I have friends there. I can leave magazines and like that with them and pick them up, take them to Pahrump, take my class, drop them off, and come on home. I don't have to bring stuff into the state. Same thing with anything else. I don't do that. I would suggest that you find ways to be legal in the state, and then if they knock on your door, you don't have to worry about it. But at the same time, understand too, let's go back to what authority they've got and what they don't. Now, I'm not an attorney, this is just my understanding, so don't take this as legal advice by any stretch of the imagination. But warrants in this country are very specific. There's no such thing as a general warrant. I'm going to show up at your house and I have a warrant to look for whatever I think I might find that might be illegal. No, there's no such thing. The warrant has to list specifically the item or evidence that they're looking for, and they can really look for that piece of evidence. Now, if they stumble on other things along the way, they stumble on them. There it is. I mean, that's the plain view rule. If it's there and they stumble on it, then yeah, then they can probably use that against you. But if they knock on the door, frankly, this is what I've been told by my law enforcement friends. And again, I did hear back from both Rick Travis, who said that this was really, after he talked to all his sources, this whole thing the Daily Shooter posted was nothing more than rumors run amok. And I heard back from Sam Paredes, who gave me some of these numbers that I'm sharing with you now. And I heard back from my law enforcement sources. And here's the deal. I mean, most of the time when DOJ knocks on somebody's door, they don't have a warrant. They don't have enough information to get a judge to sign off on a warrant. They're just on a fishing expedition. They're knocking on your door because they think that you might be a prohibited person, or they know you're a prohibited person and they think you might have a gun. Well, if they knock on your door for any reason, if they don't have a warrant, say thank you very much for stopping by. Nice to see you. Have a nice day. Close the door. Or don't answer the door. You know, if you answer the door and they want to ask you questions, you can politely but firmly say, "Officer, I don't want to answer any questions. I would like to speak to my attorney. I'm not answering any of your questions." "Well, can we come in?" "No, officer, I don't want you in my house. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thanks for stopping by." Close the door. You don't have to be rude about it, but you can be firm about it, and you can be respectful of law enforcement. Frankly, I'm of the opinion that law enforcement deserves our respect. They do a very dangerous and difficult job. We can be respectful and assert our rights. But I wouldn't freak out about this. The fact is, as far as I can determine from the 4 sources I've talked to, Rick Travis, Sam Paredes, and the 2 law enforcement sources whose names I will not give you for obvious reasons, this is not happening in the way that it was described. Now, back to William at the Daily Shooter. It sounds to me like William ran with something from somebody that he trusted rather than verify it. We got to go back to Ronald Reagan, who said, "Trust but verify," and make sure we verify these things going forward. In the meantime, let us please not abandon the Daily Shooter. He obviously, it seems, he made a mistake, and it was an honest one. Let's give the man a break. He has a very good channel. Let us continue, please, to support him. Now, there you go. That's all the information I have. Please, again, forgive the amusing, Quasimodo lookalike thing I got going on here and my slurring my speech, but I'm pretty darn sick, and honestly kind of feeling kind of miserable. So I apologize for all of that. If there's anything else I can do for you, or if you have questions about any more of this stuff, please put them in the comments, or if you want, you can send me a note on the Facebook page, or you can send me a note on Twitter. You can also send me an email if you want. Just send it to Joel at GunGuy. Well, you send it to Joel at kbtninc.com. How about that? Joel at kbtninc.com. Joel at kbtninc.com. That'll get directly to me at my email address at work, and I'll try to get information to you if I've got it. Right now, you have what I have. So with that, have a wonderful Sunday. Obviously, I didn't make it to church today, but I'm going to go read my Bible and probably take some medicine and take a nap. I hope you're not sick. If you are, I'll be praying for you generically. And again, feel free to laugh at my appearance, but I hope you'll forgive me. It's beyond my control. Have a wonderful week. Don't freak out about the Daily Shooter thing, and let's keep supporting him. Be safe.